Sachin Sanyal now goes back in and begins to recruit. So he recruits all these people whose names you may have heard. This is the time when he recruits Ram Prasad Bismil, Rajendra Lahiri, Ashfaqullah Khan, Bhagat Singh, who was a college student, Sukhdev, Rajguru, Chandrashekhar Azad, who was a young kid in Varanasi in Sanskrit college. These people, all of whose names you know, are actually recruits of Sachindranath Sanyal. And as a part of that, he then set up something called the Hindustan Republican Association. And under it, he created the Hindustan Republican Army. Now, the name is very interesting because it is directly inspired by the Irish Republican Army. So the people don't know this, but the Irish were a huge inspiration because they had just become free at that time. And the Irish, they said, those fellows, tiny country right next to Britain, can become free. Then how are we sitting around? What are we doing here? So in 1923, he sets up the HRA. And he begins to recruit all these people. And this cycle ends, of course, with several attacks and various things, but ultimately with the Kakori train robbery. Because the HRA had a serious problem. It was importing all these German Mauser pistols and guns, didn't have money to pay for it. So what they did is they got a very good swimmer. He was a champion, India's best swimmer at that time. I forget his name, gone off my mind. Anyway, they sent him off to Germany to participate in a swimming competition. And so he participates in a swimming competition, but his real job is to reach out to the Mauser company to get them for these pistols. So they send a whole carton of pistols, and they can't come into Indian waters because they'll be captured. So this German ship comes and goes outside of Indian waters, in international waters, in the Bay of Bengal. And a chap called Rajendra Lahiri, who is also another granduncle of mine, takes a fishing boat out from Dakshineshwar out into the sea, takes these guns, brings them back in, and they are distributed all over India. And these guns are then used, but there's a problem here. They don't have the money to pay for it. So what do? They decide to raid a train outside of Lucknow in a place called Kakori. Same place after which the Kakori kebab, by the way, is named. So they go there and they rob this train. And they get a lot of money. They do manage to pay the Germans, but they make a big mistake. And the mistake is that they did not realize that all the notes are numbered. And the British were keeping track of the numbering system. This is quite new at that time, numbered notes. And the British basically managed to figure out where this money gets spent. They trace it back. And many of these people, Bismil, etc., are captured and hanged. And Sachin Sanyal is yet again sent off to Kaala Pani for 10 years this time. All the family properties are taken away. So my branch of the family ends up in Prayagraj, then called Allahabad, which is one of the reasons that Chandrashekhar Azad got killed in Allahabad some years later, because he was coming to our house before he got identified by a writer called Yashpal, by the way, and was killed, or rather he killed himself, to be precise. So this second phase also ends in disaster.